Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian Johnson. I come to you to give you this speech today. Speech that's dear to my heart. Should college athletes get paid? A speech everybody needs to hear, right? As of recently, it's been big in the news that the governor of California passed a bill, the first bill in history ever to be passed to pay student athletes for their likeness, pay them for their endorsement. A bill that's wrong about a lot of people, right? Dabo Swinney, the coach of the mighty Clemson, came down and said college athletes shouldn't get paid when he makes $7.3 million. But Willie Taggart, the coach of Florida State, an African-American coach that comes from an African-American background, came down and said kids should get paid. We live in a new time. It's a new world. He remembers when he was a college athlete and he did not have the money to buy a pizza or to buy school clothes. Nick Saban, the king, made $8.4 million last year. $8.4 million. The lowest coach in the SEC made $1 million. The lowest coach in the SEC made $1 million. But half of these kids that go to these schools can't afford to get their parents to the school. Can't afford to send money back home to their loved ones. A lot of them can't buy coats. Don't have the money to take a girlfriend out for a slice of pizza or just to the movies. But some of you don't care about that, right? But these kids do. Draymond Green, LeBron James, the ones that's been speaking heavily and calling the NCAA modern-day racketeering. Some may even call it modern-day slavery on athletes. I may not call it that, take it that far, but it is wrong. It is wrong when you got to go to a school every single day and you got to look at the dorms. You got to look at the biology rooms. You have to sit there and look at the campus library, the calves that people eat in, the football stadium. And you have to sit back and say, wow, all of this is being built off of me, the athlete. The University of Georgia made $56 million last year. That's a lot of money the football program made. We're not going to calculate what the basketball program made, but just the football program made $56 million. That $56 million at the University of Georgia, just like at many other colleges, including the University of Texas, paid the salaries of every professor at that university. So half of you out there in the world that we live in America, the land of opportunity, that have degrees, that are thankful to your professors for what they taught you, are thankful if you're a chemist for that biology lab, if you're an engineer for those lab rooms. You should be thanking the athletes at your school. Yeah, you can thank some of the donors too. That's true. But the athletes also, because they bring in the revenue. There's no reason why you should have to go to a game if you was an athlete at a school 15 years later, and see your jersey at the bookstore, see your jersey still being sold by the concession stand, and you don't make $1 off of it. Why did they get away with it for so long? It's America. You have to use race. It's easy to get away with when 65% of the athletes that play college basketball and college football are black, come from underprivileged areas. We see that's a big difference, right? Because when you look at the rest of the sports, the hockey, the tennis, the badminton, the soccer, those are African-American kids. But see, those are kids that still have programs at their school, and they still are getting Nike sponsorships where Nike and Adidas is paying these programs $100 million, thankful to the football and basketball program. So when you go around most universities right now, for all those who say athletes shouldn't get paid, go ask the tennis player, go ask the hockey player, do they have a problem with a football or basketball player getting paid off their likeness? Majority of them are going to say no. They don't have a problem. And the reason why they don't have a problem, because they know their programs wouldn't exist without them. In the Big Ten and SEC, ESPN paid $50 million to every school in the Big Ten and the SEC for TV rights. Some coaches at these schools are making $1 to $2 to $3 million a year off sneaker deals, but the athletes aren't receiving anything. That's just not right. So I close with this. If you are a parent, and if you had an athlete, and you came from an area where they couldn't get an insurance policy, and there was nothing in place to say if they could make it to the next level, but all they could tell you is they get a college degree. Well, let's face it, in America, a college degree is dwindling. It's starting to become less and less valuable in America's society. It may change, but as of now, it's not as viable as it was 25 or 30 years ago. So if it was my kid, if it was my friend's kid, if it was my neighbor's kid, if it was my family's kid, and they made it to that level, I would want them to go to somewhere just like in the state of California, Florida, or even Illinois or New Jersey that bills are being paid, and let them get paid off their likeness. Let them capitalize, because America is a capitalist environment. We are built on capitalism. Why not let them capitalize off their skill? The same way they coach can capitalize. The same way their professor can capitalize. The same way the strength and conditioning coach can capitalize. If you feel that way, we will help take down the NCAA. I played college sports. I don't like the NCAA. Mark Emmert made $4 million last year. He should not make $4 million and continue to block kids the opportunity to get paid off their likeness. So I'm thank you for the California governor. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of college athletes out there today who are thankful for you also, because finally someone has stepped up for them. And they don't have to turn into another Chris Webber where they took money for boosters and the school hate them even though they almost took them to a Final Four. They don't have to deal that way and feel ashamed and take money from boosters anymore to help their families out. They can make salary off their likeness. Thank you. It was a pleasure.